What's up, guys? It's probably the last time I do a video on this subject. As you may know, Tom has just done an interview and it sounds to me like he's pretty much done with the UFC. He's really trying to show us there's a serious issue with his eyes, and it all comes from that eye poke. On top of that, he clearly isn't happy with how the UFC has handled this whole situation. But here's my question: what exactly do you want the UFC to do? Do you want them to go on a campaign for you? What are they supposed to do with Gan? Because obviously Tom keeps calling him a cheater, which is fine. He can call him a cheater, but it sounds to me that he wants the UFC to punish him. What exactly do you want the UFC to do with Gan? I mean, Gan was the one that lost in this whole situation, especially financially. Tom got his full pay. He got to keep his belt. Gan was the one that didn't get the money for winning the belt, so he's the one that lost. He also talks about the issues that he still has with his eyes, mainly the constant black spot in his right eye, and he gets dizzy and finds it difficult to focus. So I wanted to find out what causes these issues, so I asked Perplexity. So as you would expect with these sort of issues, the likely cause is, for obvious reasons, it's the eye structure itself. So it'll be an issue with a retinal tear or detachment, a macular problem, a vascular problem, an issue with the optic nerve, or even a neurological issue, it says here. But here's the issue. The previous exam that he publicly showed us showed no issue with the eye itself, none at all.
Good things here from a structural perspective. We can see that the MRI of his orbits, basically an MRI of your eye. Optic nerve was nice and normal. There was no extraocular muscle injury, no intraorbital hematoma. We did see mention in here of one of them about a small orbital wall fracture. I believe that was all the way back in the initial summary. So here we can see CT imaging initially raised concern for a medial orbital wall abnormality. So we've got something called Brown syndrome, some evidence of a possible orbital wall fracture. What the heck?
With the eyeball itself, you don't actually have to damage inside the eye because all these structures are outside the eye. But that's the reason why.
I'm saying he doesn't have an issue. All I'm saying is that the medical evidence that is provided shows there's no structural damage to the eyes. And you would expect with a knuckle deep down eye poke, you would expect it to cause some damage, which it didn't. Now, he does have Brown syndrome. I'm not going to talk about it again. You can watch my first video I made about it. It just so happens that he's got an orbital fracture around the same area. But the question here is, especially in his right eye, which is the one he's complaining about, did that eye poke cause all these issues? Let's take a look at the eye poke again very quickly, and then we'll compare it to a very recent eye poke we just saw in the UFC. We're going to be focusing mainly on his right eye because that's the one he's complained about, where he's got mainly all the issues. As you can see there, Gan is trying to keep distance. Okay, he's got his palms open like that, and as Tom throws the left hook, he turns his eye into Gan's finger, and obviously Gan, as he sees the hook coming, right, he sort of closes his hand and digs into his left eye. Aspinall's right eye, though, what happens there is he lands there, the finger lands there, and as Tom turns away with his left hook, the finger swipes away. So he actually never digs the eye itself, and he's got his eye closed. So even the commentator said the right eye didn't seem too bad compared to the left eye. It's a foul either way, which is fine. But we're gonna take a look at the fight between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje just a couple of weeks ago. Paddy received some horrible eye pokes in that fight. Let's take a look at one of them. Just look at that. I mean, that is one of the worst eye pokes I've ever seen in UFC. I don't know how Paddy just kept going. And if he had stopped the fight there and said he can't see, no one would have said anything about it. I mean, that is crazy. Gaethje threw a punch with his thumb open and literally dug his eye up. That is horrible. Actually, that happened to me years ago. I actually, in a street fight about 5-7 years ago, I punched someone, and with my thumb open, and I broke my thumb because of that. That's why they always say in boxing to close your thumb. That is fucking horrible. They also talk about his double eye surgery. They made it sound like he's getting his eyes reconstructed. What it is, it's laser surgery. What it does is reshapes the corneas to make your eyes focus and see better. If you've got vision problems like anti-stigmatism and stuff like that, it helps with that, which is my case. I've had laser surgery done. Now, he made it sound, the way he publicized it, he made it sound like he was finally getting redeemed. You know, he posted a picture of his face and then his red eyes. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? Obviously, he wants to prove a point. He wants to sway public opinion. You probably heard there are some rumors out there that the UFC asked him to relinquish the belt, which he said no, unless he gets cut. Apparently, it's been debunked, but it's probably not far from the truth. What I think is going on here is that Tom has a big offer from probably Saudi Arabia to box someone like Ngannou. He wants to get out of his contract. Now, you've seen my previous video where you heard his ex-coach talk about how he left MMA to go to boxing. His dad wants him to go to boxing. In this interview, he talks about how ruthless the sport is and the fans and blah blah blah. So he seems to be done with MMA, and I think he's trying to get out of his contract. What I think is going to happen here is he's going to be in a long dispute with the UFC until the UFC eventually let him go. The UFC is in a lot of pressure right now with this Paramount deal. They need title fights. They can't have the heavyweight title on hold for another couple of years. So they're under a lot of pressure. They need title fights. What's going to happen probably is that they're going to be in a dispute for some time, but eventually the UFC is going to let him go, or they're going to reach some mutual agreement and they're going to let him go because it's for the UFC's benefit as well. They might as well, if he doesn't want to be there, they might as well just let him go and then put someone else there. Or if they want to be dicks about it, they'll just take the title off him anyway, and just make him hold until he's better, which I don't think it's gonna happen. So I don't think Aspinall is gonna fight for the UFC anymore. And I think next time we're gonna see him fight will be in boxing. And once his boxing fight gets announced, you're gonna see that those eyes issues are gonna disappear as well. So let me know what you think. I know I'm going to receive a lot of hate as always, but I'm just telling you what I think, okay? So whatever.